This is 3 Shots In. Welcome to a brand new season. We're talking about the Ontario League here. I'm, of course, your host, Mark, also known as the Crimson Sage. And right now we're going to be focusing on the Ontario League Season 2. Of course, last season we saw our very own Glen get the top spot and win the local region. And will we get a repeat? Good possibility. We're going to have to see what happens. But really, one of the big questions I have is, who else from ScotchHammer will make it to the very end? Got a few favorites in there that we're going to see what happens, and who knows, maybe yours truly will be up there with his new Crusher List bugs. But players that we're going to watch. Of course, we're going to be watching Glen and his sisters, because can they do the repeat? Hope so. We got Hamza, who's got his Dakari. Now, Hamza's a really solid player. He knows his Dakari, and I think he's going to be somebody to watch, certainly throughout the season. And we're going to also, say that Jared Bond from our own group and his Inari, with all their fancy Space Elf tricks, are going to come through. So each week we're going to take a look at what happened the previous week and make some predictions on what it's going to come for the following week. And ultimately, as each round concludes, sort of how we're going to be moving up our predictions throughout. So round 1 pairings are up. And first off, we're going to say to the people we're watching, Glen is off against David Sumir Sukiani and his Goffs. I think these are the only orcs that are actually in our district for this particular season. We've got Hamza, who's going to go up against me and my Crushers. And we've got Jared up against Wesley Chase. So, who's going to win? What are our thoughts? What are our predictions? I'm going to say that Glen, he's got this against David. Glen really knows his sisters. I'm not familiar with David, but I have faith in Glen that, you got this, bud. In terms of me or Hamza, Hamza, as I said, is a really good player. He knows his Dakari. He and I have faced off before, and that sort of gives me a bit of an edge because I know what he's got. I know the kind of way he plays. This is the first time I'm bringing out my Crusher list to play with him. I've already got a couple games under me for the Crusher list with my Tyranids. So I'm going to say that I'm going to give him a run for his money, and I'm going to say that I got you, Hamza. I got you. And of course, Jared, who's going to be facing off against Wes and his bugs. Again, probably another Crusher list, but I think Jared's going to beat this one out. Jared's a really solid player. He goes in and analyzes the game. He knows his stuff. And although it'll be a tough game potentially, because Wes is also a decent player, my money would be on Jared. So that's for our first week of round 1. We're going to see what happens. Keep the eyes out, and next week we'll be taking a look to see what the results are of our first week in round 1 of season 2. Until then, this is Mark from ScotchHammer with 3 Shots In, and cheers.